All right, this guy here is called a mudfish. I call him a mudfish. I don't know if that's what he's really called, but they're an invasive species. They come in off the fields. As you can see, they walk around, and people love to eat them. So there you go. That's a mudfish. We'll go back to the termites and the snake here in just a minute. Good morning. It is morning here. We're in the backyard having a little walk. Gonna tell you about something that happened a couple days ago. But on our walk here, we're gonna stop at the pond. I'll show you what the pond looks like. This is where I spend a lot of time. I have a cat that loves to come fishing with me, and he gets a fish every day when I go fishing, and I feed the fish every day, so I go fishing every day. So this is the little pond, and that's the little bungalow where I fish from. But the pond is so low right now, even though it's middle of rain season, that I have to come down into the first step off. There's 3 steps. When it's completely full, it's about 4 meters deep, maybe 3 by now with all the sediment. Well, we'll walk on here what used to be, or was going to be, or we wanted to be, a coconut grove, coconut farm, coconut, I guess grove is the right word. So yeah, this is our coconut grove, and in 3 years the coconuts grew to a whopping, what is that, 3 feet? Some of them got a little bit bigger. You put 110 coconut plants in here, we probably have 10 that are doing well, and the rest are not. But we let them live. And in the meantime, wifey has planted a whole bunch of hardwood trees all along here. Some are from a couple years ago, and then the red flags there are to remind people that are out here cutting weeds for the cows that there are trees there that need to grow, not get chopped down. So where we're going now is just over here next to the fence, and fences are typically made from, trees that are cut. They take the smaller branches and make charcoal, and the bigger trunks they use for posts. Well, when they came out here to cut the weeds, they found a huge termite nest. And that's what's going on right here. This was a termite mound. And what happened was, his father-in-law was spraying the chandrite, chopping it down. Spray more chandrite, chop it down. And at some point, and I cannot find the piece of dirt that was out here, maybe it's been, this might be it. At some point, in a place similar to this here, in all of this dirt, uprears a cobra. Cobra started hissing. Father-in-law started swinging, missed it, and it went back down in the hole. It might have been down there in that hole, I'm not sure. Anyway, cobra went back down, so father-in-law continued to spray and chop and spray and chop. Cobra reared its head again, started hissing, and then became part of dinner. So that's what happens here. I've never heard of a snake living in a termite mound, but oh, this might have been it. This might have been the piece of dirt I was looking for right there. There we go. So yeah, the snake was living here, and we disturbed its nest, and well, it probably was nesting actually. And there's some big holes in this thing, so I don't know, there might be more, or there might be frogs, or there might be other snakes, but something I think is still living in here. And these are the little trees. A lot of times the government will, or once a year, the government will you'll get into a drawing basically, and if you win the draw, then you can get a bunch of trees that are about this size. And you can get a couple hundred trees, and all you have to do is say that you're going to plant them, and they'll give them to you. Or they'll sell them to you extremely cheap. Extremely cheap. But anyway, so we've got a couple hundred more trees in what was going to be the coconut grove, as you can see by all the red flags. And then we'll come back over here, back towards the pond, and I'm going to show you how we caught that mudfish. Now, typically you can catch them using fake frogs on just a regular fishing pole. Just throw the frog in there. That's what they like to eat best. And I have caught a couple on frogs. However, they're really finicky. If they know you're there, they're not gonna come around. So we put the wooden boxes in the pond. See right here, there's a wooden box. There's another one over here. And then the one we caught the fish in this morning is over here. And this is what they look like over here. Thai style. Just made out of an old plank. Basically, this goes on here, and it's just set up like a snare, you know, a rabbit snare or whatever. The fish goes in after the rain because they like to have a little house. And then I thought I heard something out there in the water. Might just be the rain. Anyhow, so when the fish goes in, it trips this, which is holding up this, and then it closes. And when we see that it's closed, we go out there, pull it out, and get the fish that's inside. The fish that's in here mostly is tilapia, and we eat a lot of fish. Trying to see if I see one of those big guys. The reason I don't like them in here is because they eat, not only do they eat frogs, but they like to eat the baby tilapia. Now, we have plenty, but I still want to have plenty, so I'm trying to get rid of these mudfish. But when the rice field is all full of water along here, as you saw at the beginning of the video, those things can pretty much walk, and they do. They come out of the fields and into the pond, or out of the pond and into the fields, wherever they choose to be, and that's how they invade your pond. Now, they were not put in the pond on purpose. They just they ended up here. So yeah, I had put a watering system together for all the coconut trees, and we dug trenches, paid a lot of money to have the tractor come out and dig the trenches and put the dirt up here so that we could grow coconuts and hire monkeys to come get them down and sell them. But it didn't work out. But trees grow good here. Those are last year's. Those are from a couple years ago, and I think most of them got chopped at least once by family coming over and wanting to cut weeds for the cows. They call it weeds, even though it's wild grass. That's what they call it, is the weeds. Cut the weeds for the cow. And that's what they do every morning, and sometimes every night. They come out to places like this, or off the roadside, and they just cut the weeds. They throw them in a bag, or throw them in the truck, or on the back of the motorcycle, and they take them to the cow. And that's it. That's our termite and cobra story for the day. What we will do is hopefully every couple days or so, I want to try and put a short video together on life here in Thailand. Because when you look up life in Thailand, you don't get much of the real life. You get more of the tourism and the party life. Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket. And what I want to do is let you know how things go here where I live in the north. I guess it's northeast. Buriram province. Buriram district. So there we are. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll catch up with you real soon on the next one. And if you're not following me, you could be. All you got to do is hit that little button down below, and you'll be notified if you hit the bell when the next video comes out. And hopefully that'll be really soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate you. All right. Well, good morning. Here we are in lovely Thailand, going for our postprandial ambulatory exercise, also known as a little walk after breakfast. So I thought I'd start doing something a little bit different for this channel, and I like to go out for a walk in the morning after breakfast because some days I just don't do anything. Some days I like to try and catch up on my Motor Trend TV. Some days I can't even get logged onto it. It just depends on how the internet and Motor Trend feel that day. There's a lot of things that I can't get on television, which can be a topic of conversation for another video. But here's the deal. I've had several people reach out to me and say, hey, you know, we see a lot of videos online about, you know, places to eat, you know, the nightlife, shall we say, in the more well-known touristy areas of Phuket, Pattaya, Bangkok. That's not what this is going to be about. This is going to be more about how things go on a day-to-day basis here in Thailand. More specifically, or closer to the point, how things go in the area that I live through my eyes. Now, of course, there's different perspectives on everything. I'm going to tell you how it is based on what I know. Like, for instance, look at this field here next to the house. Okay? This belongs to family. Now, why is some rice just way taller than others? You can see the rice in that section of the field is much taller than the rice in this section of the field. Well, very simply, they cut it. Why, you say, did they cut it? Well, because there's too many weeds in it. And if you cut it, the theory is that the rice will grow stronger, choke out some of the weeds. Some of the weeds will have just been killed naturally because they got cut. Others will continue to grow. But in doing that, you're hopefully getting a better yield on the rice. That's what I have been told, and that's what I know it to be, the reason for doing this. Now, you'll see some fields like this one, right? They didn't cut all of it simply because the weeds were in one area and the rest of it is fine. And how does it end up when it's time to harvest? Is one section just a lot smaller than the other section? No. I don't know how it works, but it all catches up. And you get a nice yield when you've manicured your field and taken the weeds out the best you can. You're never going to get them all out. And people don't want to use pesticides and whatnot. They want as close to, shall we say, organic rice as possible. They do use chemical fertilizers. It's a lot cheaper and a lot easier to go buy a bag of chemical fertilizer and just throw it by hand out on your field. That's what people do on the rice paddy. Anyhow, if you're not following me, you certainly could be. All you got to do is hit that button on the bottom that says subscribe and that notification bell, and it will tell you when I'm posting a new video. We'll get some good videos, some interesting videos on life here in Thailand, and see how it goes. If there's any topics of discussion, any places you want to see, anything that you want me to talk about, post it. I'll read all the comments. And we'll have some dialogue about what's what. And if you're thinking about moving to Thailand or coming half-time like I do and want some advice from somebody who's done a lot of it, what pitfalls there are and what to definitely avoid, let me know. I'll lend as much information as I can. Thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, you probably saw the stick, right? What is the stick? The stick is a piece of bamboo that I cut from the garden, dried it, shellacked it, carry it with me. Why, you say, do you need a stick when you're walking around in the village? Well, a couple of topics for discussion. Snakes, soy dogs. What's a soy dog? Soy means street or road. And of course, dog means animal that can become wild and ferocious if not properly taken care of, which is mostly the situation here. There's a lot of dogs. Everybody calls them soy dogs because that's what they are. They live on the street. They don't have a home, especially if they need something, then they're nobody's dog. They don't value the animals here like I do, or a lot of people do. It's more of, it's their will, let them do what they want. You can't raise a kid that way either, you know. You have to show the kid the right way. So same way, you have to show the dog the right way. And if you just let them wander willy-nilly and fight and run around in packs, then people like me who want to take a walk need to carry a stick. That's what that boils down to. So we'll probably do another video in the village and get some images of the soy dogs so you can see what I'm talking about. Anyway, this little river, and it really isn't a river because it has a specific beginning and end, but it's a water reservoir of sorts. Yeah, they came and dug this out. Here, things don't always just go according to plan. And there we go. That dog may belong to the man that's in the cart, and the dog is following him to the next place where they're going to go cut some weeds for the cows. And that'll be another video, you know, cutting weeds for the cows. People live and work all day long for their cows. They really do. It used to be for the buffalo because the buffalo were the ones that pulled the plows through the fields and made it so the farmers could plant and raise the rice and have a little bit of money and rice to eat. So the buffalo is very respected and well taken care of, as are the cows now. I don't know if you can hear the machines in the background. They are busily cutting the weeds, and I think we're going to walk up to that area where they're cutting and take a look. But in the meantime, take a look at all these eucalyptus. What do you think they do with all this eucalyptus? Well, it's sort of like a secondary crop. It grows all on its own. I mean, there's clumps where, you know, big trees have been cut, and then smaller ones grow from it. Well, they cut this down every year to make charcoal. And that's how most people cook, because they can't afford the gas. They don't have a vehicle to go get it. It's not always delivered on a regular basis around here. So what's the best way to cook with the resources that you have on hand? And that's to make charcoal and use it for your cooking. Now, I did a pretty long video actually on the making of charcoal. Look through this series of videos and you'll see my father-in-law making charcoal. And that's what they use. And for the most part, every once in a while, they'll fire up the gas. I made them a nice little gas burning cooktop, and so yes, they do use it. So back to the rice, you can see right over here, see if I can point it out, right here, that's grass and weeds right there, right there, right there. This field would do well with being cut back and allowed to regrow, and hopefully a lot of the rice will choke out the grass. And I'm sure that's exactly what they will do. They'll come here, they'll cut it, they'll rake it up, and they'll go feed it to the cows. And the cows will love it. All right, well, we are coming up on some folks doing some work out here. Not following me yet? You should be. Easy to do. Just hit that subscribe button. We'll show you a bunch of stuff about living in Thailand. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.